Let me show you how to build a DIY 12-week year calendar so that you can see how incorporating quarterly planning into your systems and habits can actually help you do more in 1 month than some people do in a whole year. So if yearly planning feels overwhelming and you're tired of that digital planner that you somehow always forget about, or you feel like your vision board just never really comes to life, then building a 12-week year calendar is for you. And I'm going to show you how amazing something so simple can be such a game changer for you. So if you're ready to set goals that you can actually achieve so that you can start living the life that you actually want, let's go ahead and get started. Now let me start off by saying, if you want this board to actually work, you're going to need to put it in a place where you cannot ignore it. Just by seeing this board every day should be your reminder of all the goals that you have. So we're not going to make this board and just put it off to the corner somewhere. We are going to be locked in, so after each 12-week span, we can look back and have something that we're proud of. And this board is what's going to help us stay motivated. And before we start just throwing anything on here, let me tell you exactly what you're going to need to build one of these. A trifold presentation board. Everyone wants to know where I got this blue one from. I got it from Michael's, and I think this one costs about $7, but if you want to get one that's cheaper, try going to one of the dollar stores. And 12 blank monthly calendars, and I'll put the link to the website where I found these at in the description. Some sticky notes. These ones are the mini size. Markers, pens, or pencils, or whatever writing utensils you want to use, and a glue stick or some tape so that you can put the calendar on the actual board. I kept mine real simple, but if you want to decorate it and add some extra touches, then go for it. And once you have everything that you need, then we can get into the 12-week year planning. You're going to want to start by dividing the board up into the 4 quarters, so January through March, April through June, so forth and so on. And each quarter is going to represent the 12 weeks. Yes, it's not exactly 12 weeks, but you get the point. And even though we're still planning for a full calendar year, we're going to be treating each quarter as if it was its own year. And to be honest, you don't have to actually plan the entire year at one time unless you have like a big goal and you know you want to divide it up into the 4 quarters. But maybe you want to just focus on the first 2 quarters, or maybe you want to just focus on 1 quarter. Do what works best for you. This should not stress you out. The goal is to make sure that for each quarter you have a realistic goal that you can accomplish, and accomplishing that goal is going to get you closer to your overall big goal. And so once you have the board set up into the 4 quarters, this is where a lot of people freeze because they're like, okay, wait, what do I actually do? Because if we're being honest, figuring out what kind of goals you want to put on here can be a little bit overwhelming. You're not going to want to put a goal that would honestly take you a full calendar year into one of your quarters or one of your years, because that's just doing too much. We're not trying to burn out. This also isn't just a random to-do list of items that you want to get done. For each year, you want to pick a quarterly goal that is actually realistic. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend putting more than 3 goals in each quarter, because if you try to make everything a priority, nothing actually will be a priority. And then that will lead you to not getting enough done, and then you'll go into that cycle of feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. We're not doing that. One of the most important parts of 12-week planning is picking goals that align with the seasons of your life that you're in. And you know you better than anybody else. But before a goal actually gets to earn its spot on the board, I want you to do this one simple step, because this calendar only works if you pick goals that actually mean something to you. So now you're probably like, wait, so how do I pick the right goal? This is where the 5 whys come in. And I promise you it's not intimidating or as deep as it really sounds. Once you know your goal, you ask yourself why 5 times until you get a better understanding of why you're choosing that goal. And the purpose of doing that is so that you can get to the core of figuring out why you actually want that certain goal. It needs to feel personal. It has to feel personal. That's the part that's going to motivate you. If it feels too superficial, you're honestly probably not going to get it done. Don't try to overthink it or spend too much time on this. You just need to make sure that you're not chasing something just because it sounds good. Think of this as like the filter that you're using to figure out which goals actually make it to your board. Because once it passes the 5 whys, this is where it goes. So just to give you an idea of how I set up my goals for the first quarter, I decided to focus on credit, weight loss, and content, because I'm trying to build my personal brand. I'm trying to get my credit score as close to 800 as possible, and I want to get down to my goal weight. And for a lot of people, goal setting would just stop right here, because there's one thing that a lot of people don't do when they lock in their goals. They don't turn their goals into a plan. And there's this gap between a fantasy and taking practical steps, and that's why it's so important to have a plan. So instead of saying I'm going to focus on content, I decided to pick out days where I'm going to actually batch my content, or days where I'm going to send out dispute letters. I also have certain days where I work out, which I actually need to write on here, but I was like, wait, let me stop. I need to record this video. And this is how you make your 12-week year calendar turn from goals into action. Okay, so then once you have your weeks planned out, you know your goals, now you're like, okay, so how do I know if this is all working? Because of course you want to make sure that you're staying consistent, but you don't want to feel that pressure. So you're going to need to track when you're doing things that you say that you're going to do. Tracking doesn't mean that you need to be strict. It's being honest with yourself and being realistic about what's working, what's not working, so that you don't keep trying to do the same thing that's not working and instead try to figure out how you can be more efficient. We want progress over perfection every single time. And it's going to be on you to show up for yourself if you actually want to accomplish all the things that you end up putting on this board. And once you start using this board for a few weeks, you'll start to notice a pattern of what you show up for, what you don't, and why. And if for some reason something's not working, you don't throw the goal away, you just figure out how to make it work. And that's how you're going to use this 12-week year calendar to build out a system that works for you. And if you want to know more about how you can get closer to your dream life and start to personalize your glow up plan, then check out this video. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment one of your goals for this year. And remember, you can do this, you're worth it, and you're closer than you think.